What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Got for you this time the Flash review. Well, let me say the Flash season 8 episode, which I think is 19. Yes, 19, called Negative Part 1. This episode, if you just watch my Superman and Lois, you will know I said this episode was between the two, not the best when it came to this was the Superman and Lois episode was like number 1. This came in second, you know, of being episode, or which episode was the better episode to set up their season finale. And Superman and Lois episode was the best of the two. This not saying this was a bad episode. This is saying that emotionally and, you know, mentally, it got me really excited for what's coming, and this just got me just real excited. Like, you see how I said for Superman and Lois, I was like really, and this just was like really, like this just gets one really excited. But let me give you a synopsis, then I'm gonna tell you what I thought of this episode. So, like I said, the Flash Negative Part 1. Team Flash are in a fight of their lives. Meanwhile, Iris discovers the cause of her time sickness. So, as you saw, finally, I've been complaining about this a little bit, but finally, Iris is back in the episode, and the episode in the whole deals with Iris' time sickness. So the only side story here, there's 2 side stories, one with Caitlin and one with Cecile. So I said one, there's 2 side stories, Caitlin and Cecile, but the overall story is Iris and Barry and the forces. So this episode basically picks up from the previous one. We find out that who was telling Cecile, we do find out like why she's getting stronger. Barry, this episode picks up like a little bit after Mina got her own suit now, and she's basically still been training, but she still got this whole complex of pushing herself harder than she needed to be. There is an identity reveal in this episode. It's like I'm like kind of carelessly getting careless with revealing your identity to people, Barry, but there's an identity reveal. And then, like, what kick starts this episode is in the future. Now, the episode does actually start. Like, the actual start of the episode is actually in the future, where you see Bart and Nora, and they're having fun doing sister brotherly stuff. And then Iris shows up on this hologram telephone thingy. And then Iris disappears, and then Iris shows up in front of them. But it's not the Iris that just disappeared that they was talking to, because that Iris was actually the future Iris. She disappears because the main timeline Iris appears, the present Iris appears in the future. And they find out some, a callback to, there was a callback to when Nora and Barry tried to run and take Nora back to the future. There was a callback with Nora and Iris there. And that's when they started to discover what her time sickness is and what's causing it. While Barry is training, obviously one of the children speeds back and tells Barry what's going on, thus kickstarting, Barry's investigation into finally trying to save Iris, and what's causing this. And the main villains of this episode are the forces, basically revealed in this episode to be the negative forces. Actually, this is. And what I will say that, but I won't say like the significance around that. But they do reveal that it's the negative forces. And in particular, it's negative Dion, negative. I forgot the other two people's name, but the actors who played the actor who played the Sage voice, the actress who played the strength force comes back along with Dion to make up the three negative forces: the negative strength, the negative Sage, and the negative steel force. And things are revealed of what they plan was, why Dion was doing what he did. Finally figured out that Dion was the real Dion, and the others, they get into a lot of it. I'm trying to like dance around some stuff. But yeah, Cecile there's a revelation to Cecile's powers because they go to Top. Dang, I didn't mean to say that, but okay, Top makes an appearance in this episode, and she's the one, the key people to help her figure out what's going on with her powers and why her powers is expanding. Though I did not realize that they did. The one thing that did surprise me, I will say, was that Top is a good guy now all of a sudden. When did I miss that? Somebody let me know in the comments, like, when did I miss Top becoming a good guy? But unless it was her last appearance, I mistook what her last appearance was. But I could have sworn she was still on the side of villainy. I didn't even know she was released from prison. But yeah, we get an understanding of what's going on, how she was able to do the things she did in the previous episode. It was even a revelation that Cecile knew. At least she knew parts and why she was able to do the things she did. So that revelation was shocking to me too. Like, wait a minute, we actually have an episode where at least part of it, at least part of the situation, the person actually knew why it happened. That was shocking. But yeah, Barry and Neil basically race against time to figure out how to stop the forces and what the forces are planning. They talked about making him pay. Another character, there's a lot of guest appearances. Though there was a hit and miss with this one guest appearance. There's one person who plays multiple people on the show. They missed the opportunity to show this person. They sold the other version of this person, but they do explain why that version of this actor or actress did not show up. Because that could be like I guess they explained that was one of the reasons why the Fortune was angry. Yeah, the ending was dramatic for at least to me, and I'm about to get into why. Because this is where I talked about why I have a negative with this episode, and it goes into the ending and the overall writing and direction. -1, oddly enough, because this episode is called Negative. My first negative is the fact that the emotional response. Cause this all came to me when thinking about the ending and what the story was about. It was the negative for me was that it wanted you to have a response to how they end, because the end it didn't end good for two people at the end. Two people it didn't go well for, and one person it did work for me. It did get that tense emotional response for it because this person actually been present and they worked on this person to get you to that point. But for the other person, it didn't get me there. And I would say it led to my first negative, which is that the emotional response to Iris, it just doesn't work for me. And I want to tell you what I mean by that. But basically, what you need to know is that this episode is supposed to have an emotional response for her character. And I don't have it. I didn't feel it because her character has not been in the show since the last time she was in the show. And the last time she was in the show, you know, it was barely about her time sickness even then. And then when she left or disappeared, her time sickness barely played a role in anything. They barely talked about. Hell, the episodes after that rarely had something to do with it. It was basically either a filler episode or episodes about something else. They barely acted like she was barely there, which led me to believe that maybe this is the way they write her out the show. Maybe she didn't want to. Maybe the actress didn't want to. I think her name is Candice Patton. I don't think maybe she didn't want to re-sign, so they tried to work their way into writing her out the show. Maybe she's not coming back for the next season. I don't know. But the way how they did it with her storyline this season, it left a lot to be desired. And what they tried to invoke, the emotional response of I can't believe that happened, did not come from me, from Iris. For me, I was just like, okay, that happened. Yeah, that's basically me. That was just, okay, that happened. But then when we get to the other character, because the other character happened, what happened to this other character happened right after this character, and it was just like, oh my god, that was intense. Wow, okay, didn't see that one coming. So it was like, okay, and then like the coolness of it. I don't know if you understand. If you see the episode, you know what I mean by that. Was just wow, that was cool. Very well played by the both actors for that scene. But yeah, that's my negative for that. My big negative for that. My other negative was that again comes back to the writing, was that this show was supposed to be about the Flash. After Crisis, we got the combine of 3 Earths. So Superman and Supergirl's Earth, Black Lightning's Earth, and the Flash's Earth all combined to one. Yeah, and it's now Earth Prime. Yet, what's going on in Superman and Lois should be affecting the Flash as well. They should be being affected by it too, because it's all the same Earth. And yet we only had the word inverse brought up once, and it wasn't even in connection to Superman and Lois. It was just a device that somebody threw. It was like, yeah, this is an inverse device. Good luck fighting your own strength. You know, it was like, that's basically what was said. Nothing from Superman and Lois affected the Flash at all. It's like it's like, even though they combine it all on one Earth, nothing that they do has no effects on the other, and that was supposed to be the whole point. Whatever happens to Superman and Lois or Supergirl, supposed to at least show some type of residual effect on Flash and Batwoman and the Legends, because they all on the same Earth now. And yet we don't get that. And so I just was like, that just took away from the story, because I'm like, oh, I wonder how is that gonna hurt, even make things worse for the Flash, because this is going on Superman and Lois. No, it's not even sign, if you know what I mean, in the air from Superman and Lois what's going on in the Flash. Like, they still on separate Earths for some reason. And yeah, it's just like, I think the only other thing was that the story just wasn't working. The story in itself, just like everything else was working for me story-wise, except for the time sickness stuff. Because it played, we built up so much with Dawn and all this other stuff that the time sickness just felt like it was just something that was unnecessary, and I felt it here. Like, I care more about the forces and their plan with Thawne and all that type of stuff than the time sickness itself. A couple of times in the episode, I forgot that was a part of the story. I was like, oh yeah, time sickness. But overall, I would give this episode a 7 out of 10. Big up, just because it was a good episode. Wasn't bad. It wasn't okay. It was good, but there were just a few minor problems that I had with this episode. It's no like cliffhanger or nothing. The episode does end with just to be continued. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of The Flash. And if you enjoyed my review on it, then you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my reviews. And if you enjoy this video so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, hit that thanks button, and hit that join button if you want to see my reaction to shows like The Flash and Superman, Lois, or whatever. Your choice. And as always, hitting you on these videos for more of my amazing content, but they're going anywhere because I got a reaction coming your way. So peace out and enjoy.